Right, so let's get the MS project up and running. Click the blank and blank project, and basically what we want to do here is to go to the options and make sure that we've got our name there, and that it's also auto scheduled. We'll go to the schedule, and we make sure that the project, as you can see, is auto scheduled. You can get to the options setting by clicking on file on MS project. So that's how basically you get down here. We make sure that we've got days, the hours, are pretty much set, and we can include an overarching summary task. In this case, this would be the COVID virus pandemic response project, and I'm just it's hypothetical really, and click OK. So that's our summary task. In a bit, would be indenting that just to make sure that it is. So we want to also make sure that we include like a finish date for the project, and I presume that the coronavirus, we're saying the lockdown will be lifted on the 18th of May. So I could have fixed, here in the duration column, I could have fixed the day, the week, the month. So I'll keep tweaking it till I get to just about the 18th of May. Sorry. So if I put in 2 months, you can see that's in June. That's not what we want. So I'll keep reducing the times, and just make sure that I'm putting in the right notes in the duration column. Otherwise, MS Project will reject it. But you can see I've put this is about 4 weeks now, and we're just about the 18th of May. So that's our overarching task. So at this point, I would say do not affix any dates manually in the finish column, because that would change the overarching summary tasks to a manual task. I would say input the duration, and that would automatically calculate the finish date. You do not want to be manually scheduling. Actually, when you're already on auto schedule, and that could calculate the finish date automatically for you. So now I want to start putting in subtasks that would be beneath the summary task, and basically making a list of all the individual tasks that would enable project completion, but they have to be done in a sequential order. They have to be properly planned. So what I'll do really is just to write down what I think, um, what all the project variables are. I'd list them down, then rearrange the listing, and hopefully do the planning. So yeah, for the coronavirus, obviously, they would have. My expectation would be that the relevant authorities would have to be notified. That's one. That's a subtask on its own. My expectation would also be that that the authorities resolve or confirm containment actions to stop the spread of the virus. Then the public relations is important too as well. The PR, for the public, to allay public fears. Then um, I think we'd have to also decide on the interim containment actions. The actions that should be in place, and that's subject to change as we begin to learn more about the virus. And obviously, it's very important to analyze data, so I've included that there too as well. And then at some point, I think that being this is the UK, we need to quarantine the population. At some point, quarantine meaning that the population could go on lockdown. So most of this is just hypothetical. It's not set in stone. It's subject to change, and that's what planning is all about. So we may also want to analyze the impact of the coronavirus with respect to time, quality, and cost. and what the impact of the lockdown would be in terms of time, quality, and cost as well. Um, right, and so I think that analysing the mortality or the death rate is also important, because why would you want to lock down people if you only had one death, which is an isolated incident? Yeah, so you know analysing that data would be quite useful. And also, we want to also take into consideration, the hospital stock, the resources there. Could be oxygen tanks, face masks, and so on and so forth. It could be beds, there might be bed blockages, in the NHS or, the hospital at this point in time. So we would want to, or buffer the stock that we've got, you know, hospital stock and whatnot. From the analysis, of the mortality or death rate, if we're short staffed, due to the NHS staff or support staff contracting the virus, we may want to adequately, recruit, just because of the impact it's got on the NHS staff, but because of the seismic nature of the impact of the virus internationally, so this is more like a concerted global effort, to fight the virus. And by right clicking on the subtask, you can also highlight in the notes section that the recruitment team should take into consideration the ages of the NHS staff that's going to be recruited. Obviously, the more old, that the more experienced. But if you hire an elderly NHS retired worker, they might be more susceptible to the virus and whatnot. So it's a trade-off really between, experience and youthful NHS workers that want to work on the project. And daily scrum or daily briefing, from number 10, and from NHS, the health ministers and whatnot, and people actually leading the medical sphere would be crucial, because you want to lead public affairs. The continuous analyzing of data also would be a sub-task within this project, because we're looking at hitting peaks, and we're looking at when the curve, the people who have contracted the virus, the mortality, death rate, when they begin to, or when the curve begins to flatten out. Right, and also in order to limit the amount of people who are going to be infected, mandatory social distancing laws, need to be enacted, and the government would also need to give police more powers to enforce the directive as stipulated from number 10, or from the upper echelon, or from the government. Also, an emergency meeting with the traditional brick and mortar news agencies and the social media would be crucial, because of fake news, and because the news could be adulterated or distorted. So, ensuring that the social media and the traditional or mainstream media, you know are singing from the same hymn sheet with the government, and that the correct information has been disseminated to members of the public would be really crucial in ensuring that the containing the pandemic is successful. As noted in the note section, to manage PR, and take down fake news, that's been posted online. It's not more for censorship, but it's just to make sure that the correct information has been disseminated to members of the public. We'd also want to revise the temporary measures, the lockdown measures, to make sure that we're continuously analysing and seeing if the alert is not that severe, so that we can probably start um, lifting the measures, maybe from county to county, or from town to town, and also it would be absolutely crucial to engage the military, the MI5, the CIA. We haven't got the CIA in England, but scientists, could be virologists, biochemists, just to enable the government to ascertain the source of the pandemic. And since the virus is no respecter of person, it doesn't matter what your age is, your class is, it could get you down. So everyone's vulnerable, and so the NHS, government officials who are really at the front line trying to make sure that, this gets resolved. You need to be provided with the adequate PPE, and the people who put the government in power, you know, and who without the NHS staff who work in the public sector wouldn't be able to work. The entire population needs to be protected too as well. Yeah, and also the military, the police need to be placed on high alert. Probably multiple Cobra meetings. I mean, to ascertain, if there's been a plausible terrorist attack, that needs to be investigated, just to make sure that we know exactly what we're dealing with, and so that we provide the adequate response. And also another task would be to investigate if the COVID-19 started from a market in Wuhan. So that story needs to be investigated too as well. And also ramping up the number of bed spaces we've got. I mean, the hospital would be absolutely crucial to containing the pandemic. And also building full capacity ad hoc hospital to accommodate the number of people who have fallen to the virus in London, would be absolutely crucial. Not just in London, we'd also have to consider other um, areas in the UK. You can start to affix dates to each of the subtasks, but it is advisable to start doing it after you must have finished planning the each subtasks sequentially, or in the right order. So I would move the communication or feedback from Her Majesty of the Queen, to the very top of the project, because my expectation would be that as soon as number 10 receives the information, they have a duty of care to inform the Queen. So I'd move that way. I'm gonna have to do that for the same thing for other subtasks, and run through each individual subtask and within the project, and just make sure that they're placed in the right order. So going through each of the subtasks that has been listed down, and making sure that they are in the right order is absolutely crucial. Due to time constraints, I can't cover everything, but item 37 is your last task, and if that's a milestone, in the predecessor column for items 37, you can affix the numbers 36 in the predecessor columns for item 37, and 0 days in the duration, and that will set your milestone. Like I said, this listings are hypothetical. Doesn't mean that it's going to be like this in real time. It could be totally different. So this is basically just for illustration purposes. And so what I'm doing is every subtask underneath the overarching summary task, which is the coronavirus pandemic response, will be indented one step forward, so that it is very clear that you can see the summary task and all the subtasks that are below the summary tasks. And by highlighting the numbered row, notify the relevant authority, I can move that way up. And here, I could, name this project by inserting a new task, just in case there are other individual projects that would make up the coronavirus pandemic response project. So I'll name this the COVID-19 project, and then highlight all of its subtasks and indent it one step forward by clicking on the indent button. It is important that it is aligned, otherwise you might have dates that are skewed if you're not properly aligning all the tasks. At this point in time, I've highlighted all the tasks that I want to link, and I've clicked on the link button and established the association. So certain tasks may finish before certain tasks. It could be a start to start, a finish to start, a start to finish, and so on and so forth. For the sake of time, I'm not going to link every subtask here, but it is important that you link them up, all them tasks, so that you can actually highlight or identify what your critical path is at the end. Basically, what I'll be doing from here on is just to link up all them subtasks, and you know and to ensure that the refined dates are within all fall within the finished date. So the project days of 1 day, 6 days, it's all hypothetical. It's not in real time, but if you're planning, your project, you should be meeting with the stakeholders to confirm the required dates, or at least from experience you should be able to say how many days an X or Y number of tasks would take. Right, so some quick tips would be to look at your left hand and pane, and where you can find the task mode. You can tell that the project is auto scheduled because you can't find any pin underneath the task mode. It's all in blue with an arrow sign. So that tells me that it's auto scheduled. When you're done linking up all the tasks in the right order, you can plot your critical path. So it wouldn't be shown as blue bars on your MS project. It will be shown as red bars, and you can find this by clicking on File. Then you go to Options. Then you go to the Advanced. You scroll to the bottom. Then you tick the button which says Calculate Multiple Critical Paths. That is if you're putting together a cluster project, but in this instance we just have an individual project for the pandemic. So you can basically just go to hit your format button and then select critical and tasks. And although in real time I didn't demonstrate how to plot your critical path and set your milestones, but if you follow my instructions you should be fine. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thank you for listening, and hopefully get you more videos. And that's about it really. Thank you.